Today, I want to talk briefly about the CEO of Hope Not Hate, Nick Lowles' recent book, How to Defeat the Far Right, where he gives a lot of practical analysis and solutions to how we ward off the far right in Britain and across the world. And specifically, I want to talk about Reform UK because they've been predicted to get 311 seats in the next election, forming a hung up parliament, probably with the Tories, and they will decimate the welfare state, the NHS, and make Britain a worse place, more divided, more divisive, and our civil liberties will be undermined. They want to ban critical race theory, trans ideology, and that's just the beginning. Where are they going to go? Are they going to go to remigration and even more far right fascistic ideology? But we have to step back and look at what reform are a symptom of. They're a symptom of crisis in democracy, inequality, and capitalism. People are not doing well in terms of wages. Wages have stagnated. Social mobility is flatlined. People can't afford housing. People feel isolated, alienated from their communities. And the far right and Farage offer a community. They offer a strange hope for the future that if we kind of get lower immigration and we get rid of trans ideology and critical race theory, things will be great again. It's that fascist narrative of our recent past was so great, but without these immigrants and these lefties and these liberal media, we can go back to that greatness, make Britain great again. But it's an illusory and very fanciful vision, which Nigel Farage can't deliver. And also, I suspect a lot of his supporters know that. There's a lot of distrust against politicians. For example, 4% of British people believe that politicians are honest and tell the truth. 4%. And I think those people who support reform, primarily it's a question of distrust in politics. They see the corruption, they see the gifts, they see the backhand deals, and they go, okay, well, I'm working hard, and the politicians are just getting a free ride, expenses, they get all this, free stuff that I am not getting. And they go, okay, why? There's a complete distrust in politics, which is which actually is something we need to talk more about. Although I think racism ties into it, I think it's more complicated than that, and it is hard. And I've mentioned this before. Is hard to distinguish, like genuine racism, ideologically racism, from dog whistles, and the fact that on average, poorer towns are more susceptible to anti immigration rhetoric. So it's not necessarily that these people are ideologically racist, although some are. It's more of they're more susceptible to that narrative. And we have to separate those two things. And I think that's something that the left aren't good at. And I'll include myself in that. We need to listen to people more, which is a big one. Like, what can you do? Well, we can all listen. And I think what the left need to learn more about is being more hard and critical of the demagogues, which I tried to do, like Konstantin Kissin, these online figures who know they're grifting, they're selling lies, they know what they're making money, they don't believe a word of it, they know what they're doing. And the public, the British public. And we need to separate them completely because I think we need to sympathize with the public. We need to be more kind of empathetic and take their serious and real concerns seriously. But also we need to be aware that they're being sold a lie, that they're more susceptible, certain people are more susceptible to anti-immigration, anti-trans, anti-woke narratives, and be more sympathetic. And this is a balancing act that isn't easy. It's hard for me. As an autistic individual, all I care about is facts. I am like Spock. I don't give a shit about your feelings. Sorry, I don't on immigration. I kind of don't. And I struggle with this. Like to have a discussion with someone, when their feelings are driving their positions, and I'm kind of going, well, okay, they make up a fifth of the workforce. They pay more into the system than they take out. Our economy would collapse if we didn't have the carers, the doctors, hospitality. Also, freedom of movement. My ethical position that people should be able to live wherever they want on God's green earth. All these arguments. And then people go, well, I can't afford a house. And no real arguments against it. It's more of a feeling. I feel like my town's changing. And it is. We are getting poorer. We're becoming more unequal. Communities are dying. And this is true. Like, what they're saying often has a huge kernel of truth to it. But they want to blame immigrants and wokies and leftists and communists and, cultural Marxists. And I'm sorry, we don't have the power. I wish we did. I wish Keir Starmer was a Marxist. He's not. He's a neoliberal, and that's the problem. He can't deliver change. Neither can Nigel Farage, neither can Rupert Lowe, Ben Habib, and we have to listen to people, because although I think it's perfectly valid to cut someone out of your life if they are talking, about great replacement, re-migration, I also think we need to be sympathetic of these people. And that's hard. That is hard for us on the left. It is. It's the real challenge we face. And I think if we want to fight fascism, we need to be more tolerant of the intolerant, which is good coming from me because I'm not very tolerant of this shit. I'm not. Like I can say, I only care about facts. I really do. And I think that is both the strength of the left and it's also our fatal flaw. It's why we care about facts. That's all. We're more, we want to build policy based on facts, evidence, data. And the right, they are emotional. But you got to realize humans are very emotional species, and we all have our irrationalities. We all do. Like, I eat the same food every day. I mean, that's part of my autism, but also part of that is a choice as well. I like the convenience of not having to think about my meals. I can just eat what I eat. So that's a big part. Listen to people. We have to listen to the people. We don't have to agree with them on everything. We don't have to agree with their people on trans. And I've been brought over to this by figures like Jimmy the Giant and Nick Lowles, where we've just got to kind of go like, okay, I agree with you on 80% or something, or 70%. And I'm a big trans rights guy. Like, I think trans rights are so important to our politics and rejection of fascism and far right ideology. But also, we've got to understand that if you've been told that all your life, like men are men or women are women, that essentialist belief, that bio essentialist belief or gender essentialist belief that, men are just this, we need to have discussions about what gender means. What is gender? Well, it's a set of social expectations and roles that we define. But they've muddied the water where they want biology and gender to be the same. And it's a very dishonest sleight of hand that they've done consciously. And we need to be more sympathetic and empathetic of those people who have been caught up in that disinformation. So that's what a key one, listening. Also, a bigger one is we need proportional representation. The fact that about 21% of the vote led to 1.8% of the seats between Reform and the Green Party. People know the system is unfair. And although Keir Starmer has reduced the voting age to 16, which is great because you want to introduce politics younger, and I think that's a key component of this, he needs to go further and do PR and challenge the House of Lords. Like, it needs to go. It's undemocratic. People see that and they go, okay, so they just turn up for their 300 quid a day. They sleep in. It's an antiquated system. We need our own written constitution. There's so many problems with British democracy that is a big discussion, which is, beyond the scope of this video because already we're nearly at 10 minutes and there's so much to talk about. So PR, Listen to people. Know that even people from Labour, Green Party, Liberal are moving towards reform. And again, there are ideological racists. Like, again, not everyone who votes reform is racist, but racists vote reform. And again, we have to be careful with the language. I think it's a paradox where we need to be both tough on racism and also more empathetic. And that is hard because they are contradictory inherently. Those things, like, we need to be firm in our beliefs and know, be clear what we believe and what is acceptable. Because people know racism is bad. But also there are legitimate concerns with immigration. There are a million people came into the UK in 2024. That's almost the same amount of immigration as that goes into America in a year. And they've got a population of 330 million. We've got the population of 68 million. That is a potential problem. But we have to be honest and say, okay, who caused that? Well, it was the Tories. Brexit caused that. And a lot of people on the right don't want to accept that. And it's hard to have a good faith discussion about immigration. It really is, because it's so emotional. It's too emotional. And we need to talk about it. We need to have an honest discussion about immigration, which isn't happening. Like, we need to defer to the academics and the data and sensible. But politicians over the last at least 100 years have used this as a political football, and they always overpromise. The Tories did this, we're going to reduce it to the tens of thousands. It goes up. Reform are going to do exactly the same thing. They're going to say, oh, we'll deport 600,000, we'll reduce it down to the tens of thousands, and they won't be able to deliver. They won't, because we rely on immigration. We need these people. Our aging population is a ticking time bomb. People aren't having kids. Who's going to pay for my pension in the future and your pension? Who's going to pay for the welfare state, even if it exists in 40, 50 years' time? And politicians have been dishonest about it. And Keir Starmer's doing the same stuff. He's tapping into it. Yeah, we're going to reduce it. I'm going to smash the gangs. He's not smashing the gangs. He won't be able to. He's not going to reduce immigration, although it is going down slightly. He needs to have a bold vision of, like, okay, right, we need a sensible immigration. We need to have a evidence-based discussion and not cede ground to the right and go, actually, the data suggests how the left and right treat immigration is pretty much the same. So if you're voting for left or right, you're pretty much going to get the same. We need immigration. It's a fact of life. It's like trade. It's like taxes. It's a fact of life. And you have figures on the far right, Tommy Robinson, Elon Musk, demagogues, who are stirring the shit pit of online discourse. And we're going to see that continue. We need to fight back. That's where we need to be strong against those people. We need to be uncompromising. We need to deplatform them when appropriate, because they are spreading dangerous lies and disinformation. Elon Musk is calling for violence. This is serious stuff which is becoming mainstream. Normalization. You hear people on the far right saying remigration is becoming moderate. It's becoming the normal position. It's the middle ground. What the actual fuck? This is only going to get worse in the next 4 years. They will get more extreme. And Nigel Farage, will he be able to ride this and kind of sustain his base, which is getting more radical? They want remigration. They want to deport 1 million Muslims. I don't think it is. That's the inherent instability of fascism. Full of egos, full of power dynamics, people who want to be at the top. We saw that with Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. They all hate Farage now. And that's after how long? A couple of years of reform over the last few years, kind of rising up from the Brexit party in 2021. Big challenges, big challenges. But listening, I think, is the big one the left needs to learn. We need to learn to listen, be firm, be honest, and be less factual. Because we're right, we like facts, but sometimes that's all we care about. And we've got to know that we're emotional creatures. People are deeply emotional. They see something, fear is a powerful emotion. Hitler knew this. He said it was the only stable emotion, fear and hatred. And they mobilize it well because it's easy to do that. And I think we need to tap into that a little bit, but against the bad people, against the far right, who are unambiguously unethical in their positions. I think that's okay. I think it is good. And sometimes we're afraid on the left to go after our enemies strong enough because we don't want to be like them. We want to be good. We want to be empathetic. But those are the people we need to after, not the people in our lives. And I'm rambling, but I think it's okay to reject your abusive uncle or your father or your mother who's gone down the far right conspiracy pipeline. I think that's okay. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying, please, can we give them a chance, a second chance, and go, okay, I don't believe immigration is the main problem facing the UK. I think it's inequality. I think it's lack of trust in politicians, a crisis in democracy, capitalism, the wealth at the top getting ever bigger whilst everyone else has to get the crumbs. That's what we need to talk about because things are only going to get worse. And if reform get in, and a part of me wants them to go, look, I told you so. But also we need to be like, no, it's okay. We can tackle inequality. We can get a politician and a leader who has integrity, who is honest, who has realistic goals, who has a plan for the future, a vision for the future, and it has to be based in hope. That's the thing. It's very easy to be negative, and I'm a negative person. I am quite a negative person in a way with my content. And that's because I'm reacting towards to right-wing content. And again, what are we offering as an alternative? It's difficult. It's difficult because how do you say, oh, democracy? Democracy is sexy. Tackling inequality, sexy. It's not sexy. We're at such a disadvantage on the left. We have no money. Our messages, people are all basically the same. Trans people are just like you. Muslims, like refugees, they're just like you. It's not sexy. It's not sexy at all. But saying there's a cabal controlling the media that, you've been betrayed by your politicians, which you have, and that if we just got rid of immigrants and the pernicious influence of the left, our country could be great again. It's a powerful story. And we need powerful stories. And it's hard because stories demand an antagonist. And I think our antagonist has to be the far right. It has to be fascism. And we have to call it that. We have to say, those are the people who want to undermine democracy, liberty, equality, liberal values, because that's what we're fighting for now. It's liberalism. It's not socialism. It's not communism. It's liberalism, which is the problem in the first place. So we're at an incredible disadvantage here on the left. Like, we're really up against it. And I want to end on a positive note. I do want to end on hope. But before you have that hopeful end, you need the darkness. You need that third act pinch point where we are at our lowest. And I don't think we've reached it yet. And I think we have to go through a reform term maybe to reach that dark night of the soul, the lowest of the low, before we can rise out again and in the third act kind of have a bit of hope. That's my fear at the moment, because although Zach Belansky, Gary Stevenson, there's people on the left rising up, but is it enough? Is it enough? That's my question. And I have an optimistic heart, pessimistic mind, but yeah, I think we have to have a bit of both. We have to have hope and also the awareness that there's a chance that Nigel Farage could be the next Prime Minister. So, on that positive note, tell me your thoughts. What else do we need to tap into? Obviously, democracy. We need to engage in local communities. Join the Green Party. I've joined recently. Join it. They've got 75,000 members. Let's get it to 100,000. Reform have got 230,000. That's what we need to do. We need to get it to 250,000, 500,000. Be engaged. Talk to people. Listen. Try not be judgmental. And if you are, that's okay too. I think it's okay. Be honest. How you feel. Well, this is how I feel. Validate their emotions. And hopefully they will validate yours and go, well, I'm concerned about racism. I'm concerned about Donald Trump. I'm concerned about Nigel Farage and how he talks about people eating swans. And hopefully, if you extend that empathy and validation of their feelings, they may extend it to you. Not always, but we have to try. We have to engage with people as honestly and as empathetically as we can. That's all I have for you. Comment below, give me your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video.